Hi, I'm Mike Fiffik. I'm the owner of Fiffik Law Group. I'm a lawyer, and I've been helping small business owners launch, grow, and thrive their businesses in Pennsylvania for over 30 years. I have offices in Pittsburgh and in Philadelphia, and I'm here today to talk to you about starting a new business and some mistakes that I see that new business owners make that I would really like to help them to avoid. As an attorney, I often encounter entrepreneurs that are eager to start their businesses. And while starting a business can be exciting and rewarding, there are some common mistakes that many new business owners make that can have very serious consequences for them, both legally and financially down the line, that I'd like to help them to avoid. So, in this video, I'll discuss 6 mistakes that new entrepreneurs often make. The first 3 are going to be financial mistakes, and then the second 3 are going to be legal mistakes. So let's start with the financial mistakes. First and foremost, a lot of small business owners really fail to engage in any type of real market research. Failing to understand the target market, their customer needs, and the industry trends can really lead to launching a product or service that doesn't meet demand. So the first encouragement that I would have to people think about starting a business is really spend some time doing some market research. And that's really just outside of the, immediate folks that you talk to where you're bouncing your idea off of them. They may be enthusiastic about it, but you got to go to a second level and really get out there and do some research on the product or service to see if anybody else is offering it out there or to figure out exactly who in the marketplace is going to be there, who's going to want to buy your product or your service. Secondly, is ignoring financial planning. Inadequate financial planning, including underestimating costs, overestimating your revenue projections, and not setting aside enough capital for unforeseen expenses can quickly lead to business failure. There's a reason why the vast majority of new businesses fail within the first year. And oftentimes it's because of a lack of financial planning in advance. So you really need to sit down, put together some type of a pro forma of what your expenses are going to be, and really think broadly about it. Get with a small business counseling like SCORE, the Small Business Administration's counseling program for small business owners. Those are experienced, seasoned small business owners who can help you put together a pro forma and really understand the full scope of the expenses that you're going to have and maybe put some realistic financial projections together so that you're ready to withstand the uphill climb that most small businesses have in the first year or 2 of starting a new business. Now, the third, the business mistake that a lot of business owners make is neglecting a solid business plan. And this may be the most important of all of them. Without a clear roadmap outlining your goals, the strategies for achieving your goals, and the action steps that you have to take, it's easy to lose focus, make poor decisions, and struggle to attract investors or to secure funding. Especially having a small business plan is going to be difficult. If you can't tell a potential investor or a lender what your plan is, that is going to be a big red flag and a big turnoff to them. They're not going to be willing to invest in your business at all if you don't have a plan. If you can't tell them what you hope to achieve, when you hope to achieve it, and how you are going to get there. That's really what somebody would take a look at to see if you're a serious person and if you have any real chance of success. So let's switch gears and talk about the legal mistakes that I see new business owners commonly make. And the first of those is that they really don't do the full job when it comes to preparing all of their startup documents. Now, if you're going to start a business, you're probably going to start a limited liability company, and you can do that online by filling out a certificate of organization and a docketing statement here in Pennsylvania. That's going to get you an LLC that's going to be born, but that's oftentimes where new business owners stop because they're doing it on a DIY basis. And I would say that that is not the end of the formation process. There are a lot of other documents that you should have, including applying for a tax ID number and especially having an operating agreement. Not having an operating agreement can be a real downside for business owners. First and foremost, very practically, having a signed, fully prepared operating agreement is something that you are going to have to produce in the event that you ever want to borrow money from a bank, they're going to want to see all of your business documents, including a signed operating agreement. So not having that in place can be a road bump, a road speed bump along the way in getting some financing that you're going to have to cover over. You're also going to be asked for it if you're going to buy real estate. That's going to be part of the title process. And other situations where you're going to be asked to present that. But even more importantly, in Pennsylvania and in most states where you're forming your business, you have the ability to prepare the rules and the way you're going to run your business. And that's all set out in your operating agreement. It is your right as a small business owner in many areas of operating your business under the law to set the rules down on how you're going to run your business. Whenever you don't do that, right, the government is going to have a default set of rules for you. So basically, by not having an operating agreement, you are allowing the government's rules to govern how your business is going to run. So let me ask you a question. Do you want to run your business according to your rules, or do you want to let the government tell you how to run your business? I think all of us would agree that operating it under your own rules within the confines of the law is the best way to do it. So don't let the government default rules dictate how you're going to run your business, or don't waive your right as a small business owner to come up with the rules on how you're going to run your business. Now, the second mistake, that's a legal mistake that small business owners make, is neglecting to have comprehensive documents, contracts, in place. There are a lot of important contracts that business owners need to have. Most important of which are customer contracts. You need to have an agreement between you and your customer to define a lot of important things like who is the customer, who is the business that is part of this agreement, what are you going to agree to do for the customer, what are the payment terms, what happens if the customer doesn't pay, what are your rights to collect on that money. So these are all very important components to your customer contracts. There also may be laws that dictate that you have to have a contract, especially if you're doing work for consumers in Pennsylvania, and the law may require certain provisions to be in those agreements. And if you don't have an agreement, or if you don't have an agreement that complies with the law, what you think is an enforceable agreement between you and your customer may in fact not be enforceable, and you may be giving your customer a lot of advantages over you because you don't have a good, solid contract in place, and they're really there whenever something goes wrong, that you can rely upon it to assert your rights and collect the money that your business is due. There are a lot of other contracts that your business is going to need depending on the type of situation that you have, but customer contracts is just one of many very important contracts. A lot of business owners just get out there, get going, have no contracts at all, or just use some type of a form that they have found online. Don't do that. It's worth the time and effort to spend some money with a business attorney to have good contracts drafted. It will pay for themselves 1,000 times over in your business life. The final and maybe the biggest mistake that entrepreneurs make, legal mistake, is really ignoring all of the compliance requirements that are out there under the law that their new business has to follow in order to do business. Many business owners overlook the various legal requirements and regulations that apply to their type of business or where their business is located. That's from obtaining licenses and permits or to complying with tax laws and employment regulations, especially Pennsylvania and federal labor standards provisions. So there are a lot of regulations out there that may cover your business that you have to comply with and be aware of before you go out there and start operating your business. Some examples would include restaurants and other food establishments. There are a lot of regulations and licenses that you have to acquire in order to open or operate any type of restaurant or food establishment, whether you're opening a traditional restaurant, maybe it's a counter service type of a place, or even a food truck. There are going to be a lot of regulations that you're going to have to comply with, and you have to know them. If you intend to sell alcohol, there are going to be lots of liquor licenses that you will have to apply for as well. Contractors in Pennsylvania need to be licensed in order to do work for consumers. And there is the Home Improvement Consumer Protection Act that requires that contractors have a written contract with their customers that contains certain provisions in them. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to enforce your contract against your customers, and it may really impair your ability to get paid. That's a big area where I see small business owners not complying with the laws that apply to their business. Healthcare providers, if you want to do home care, visiting nurse business, or other types of healthcare into the community, that is a highly regulated area, and you need that. Daycare centers, another common one, very highly regulated. You're going to have to comply with a whole host of regulations out there. So you really have to be aware of what's going on and comply with them. Otherwise, bad things will happen to your business from a regulatory standpoint. So there are some mistakes that I see a lot of new entrepreneurs, new business owners make. Recognizing these, working on these in advance, dealing with them in advance, really will give your business a leg up against the difficult odds there are for new businesses. And I would really encourage you to have the 3 relationships set up before you start a new business that are very important about every new business. That is with an accountant, preferably a CPA, with a lender of some kind. You really should have a good relationship with a bank or a lender who can provide you lots of different advice and insights about capital needs for your business, and especially have a relationship with a small business attorney. They can really help you avoid mistakes along the way. Any small business attorney that's good at what they do has represented hundreds, if not thousands, of small businesses, and they bring all of that collective experience to bear to help you launch, grow, and thrive your business. Thank you, and good luck out there for all small business owners.